Alright, we're going to do an annual maintenance on our Homelite pressure washer that has a Honda motor. And just to give you an idea of why this is important, my pressure washer is over 12 years old already and still running strong. Never had to do anything except for what I'm about to show you. So once every winter, I just do everything. Some 10W30 oil, you only need 12 ounces. I bought this big jug. In the links in the description I'll put a quart, and I'll put a little 12-ounce bottle in case you just want to buy the 12 ounces, because that prohibits you from even having to go through the added step of measuring if you want it to be super quick. So we're going to have some oil. We're going to do oil change. We're going to change the spark plug. I'll put links to these NGK spark plugs in the description. And we're going to change that out using a 13/16" spark plug socket. Spark plugs have special sockets because they're deeper to grab the nut that is on your spark plug. Also, we use a 3/8" ratchet. We also have a spark plug gap checker to check the gap in our new spark plug. And I need to change my glove. I just did the mower maintenance, so I need to get me a better glove. And so that's really it. An air filter. So you'll notice I don't have an air filter here. I'm going to show you how to do it because we're going to check it. So whereas on a mower, I would want to change my air filter every season no matter what, because you're mowing, you're picking up dust. But most people use a pressure washer on concrete, so your air filter should last quite a while. So we're gonna check our air filter, which is the same procedure as changing it, and then we'll show you if ours is dirty. Then I'll go ahead and order one and put that in. But it'll be the same procedure to check it as it would be to replace it. Also, the frequency of this would depend somewhat on how often you use your pressure washer. I use mine twice a year to pressure wash the driveway, the sidewalks, the porches. That's a pretty big job. Do that in April and October. And then we use it to wash our cars throughout the year. We never go to car washes. We do them all by hand. So our pressure washer gets pretty good usage. So let's get started. Alright, so first thing, our air filter. Like we said, okay, so you got two clips on the top. You just push in with your thumbs. See how they release that and they slide right out of there? The bottom is held on by these two. These things just kind of rest in there and you tilt it back up. So you can tell this is brownish. It's discolored. It's really not dirty. This is just from stuff, but it's been a while, so even though this is, well, so you can tell really it is just discolored. It's not dirty. So that's up to you if you want to change this. It's about $10, $11. But when I look at the pleats, I'm seeing a clean filter that's just, you know, barely an off-white color. And so that's up to you if you want to change it. You can even tell it's 100% clean inside of there. So anyway, you'd either take your new filter or reuse your old one after you've checked it and just put it back in there. And then, you know, same direction. Just kind of line those tabs up at the bottom. Swing it upward, line up those tabs, push in with your thumbs. It'll snap in both spots and it's on secure. So that's all there is to checking and or changing your air filter. Alright, so to change the oil, we've removed our dipstick, we've cleaned it off. Just gonna set that aside. In the past, my wife and I have picked this up, tipped it over. Due to the location of this, it's impossible to do that without spilling oil on the inside of this wheel. So last year when I did it, I said, well, I'll never do that again. I'll just take this wheel off. It'll take 2 minutes. Looks like a nut, but it's not a regular nut. No socket fits that. I did some searching, and yeah, it's a special axle nut, and I'm just going to leave the wheel on. So what we're going to do, I'm going to get one of my daughters to help, and my wife and I are going to tip it up like we always do. We're going to have one of my daughters hold this, form a funnel right here, and as we pick it up and tip it, we're going to try our best to keep as much oil off the inside of this wheel as possible. So we're going to do that off camera. Alright, so that worked great. Took 3 people This is the heavy end, by the way. The handle end is the light end when you pick it up. So I got on that side, my wife got on this side. We had our oil pan there. Our daughter was sitting on this stool with the forma funnel. So we started off by lifting it, moving it close over the pan. She held the forma funnel under here. And then as we tipped the mower, or the pressure washer, she just made sure the funnel went into the pan. It only takes a few seconds to empty. And then she just keeps the forma funnel over the pan, and we tip that back over. We had a couple of stray drops, much better than we've ever done without doing that, because the inside of the wheel, if you can go on the others, you can do it from that side. You can see what the inside of the wheels look like. They have all these crevices where oil was getting in all this stuff, and is a real pain to clean up. So this time cleanup was minimal. I had a couple drops on here. We had a couple drops seep out on this easy part of the wheel to wipe, and then we had a couple drops on the inside. It took like less than a minute to clean up the oil. So that's the way we're going. I'll put links to the forma funnel in the description. So we have our 12 ounces measured out in this picture. If you don't want to bother with the measurement, I'll also put a link to a 12-ounce bottle of oil made by Honda for this specific purpose. I'm just going to pour that in. So then we have our new oil in. So now we just thread our plastic dipstick in, snug it up, and the oil change is done. Okay, so we've done our air filter and our oil change. Now our last order of business is the spark plug. So this black rubber boot goes on our spark plug, so we just get our hand in there. You see I'm putting my finger right here to get a grip, and I'm pulling out. So this is my boot. This is my spark plug socket with my ratchet. I'm gonna break that free. Don't really need the ratchet anymore. I can just do that by hand. Helps to have not only the deep 13/16 spark plug socket, which you have to have, but also a 3-inch extension. Gives you clearance away from your unit to operate the ratchet. Alright, I think we're out. So there's our spark plug. So let's go in here, compare that to our new spark plug. Alright, so again, I change these every year. They're fairly inexpensive. I'll put links to this NGK spark plug in the description. No problem getting your old and new mixed up, because the new one is shiny and the old one is going to have some fouling. That does not mean it's bad. All spark plugs will do that after just a little bit of use. Notice it came off with its washer, and our new one has a new washer, so just make sure those are present. So now we're going to get rid of our old one, but on our new one they should come pre-gapped, and I'll put all the gap settings in the description. You can use inches or millimeters. These are supposed to be pre-gapped to between 0.7 and 0.8 millimeters. So this is a spark plug gap tool. It ramps up. The ramp gets bigger. So I'm going to show you on the old one. So as you ramp up, you slide it in the little gap there. That's what it's talking about, the gap in between this and that. And then as you ramp up, you look at where you're at for your reading, and you want to be careful not to slide these harshly or rub, because you're not wanting to damage that metal right there, that special metal. Alright, so gonna test the gap of our new plug. We want to be between 0.7 and 0.8 millimeters. I'll also put the inches in the video description if you're interested in that. Start at the lowest. We start just gently ramping it up. I'm touching now, so I'm meeting resistance, so I'm not putting any pressure on that. And I just want to look up and read, and I see that I'm at this. Okay, I'm at a little more than 0.8 actually. That's rare. So that gap is just a little too much. Okay, so I just tapped this a little bit on my workbench because the gap was too wide. and then now I'm right where I want to be. I'm above the 0.7 and below the 0.8, so I'm going to leave it alone. So this is gapped correctly. I'm going to hold our boot out of the way. So in the old days they used to recommend you put anti-seize on the threads, but now they say not to because the spark plug companies put a coating on there. So you don't want to introduce foreign material into your ignition. So do not put any anti-seize on modern day spark plugs. They're ready to go just like they are. Okay, we got our socket on there. Alright, so now I got this set to 14 foot-pounds, so I can tell when I'm getting close. Okay, so now I'm getting a little resistance. I'm up to 11. I'm up to 12. I don't know if you can see this right here. 13, 3, 5, 6, 8. There it is. 14. Alright, so it's properly gapped, properly torqued. We'll put our boot back on. Alright, so our annual maintenance for this is done and ready for another year of operation. It's in its 13th year now. So anyway, this is done. Hope that's been helpful. Check the links in the video description for all the parts and tools and equipment that you'll need to do this job. Thank you for watching.